All right, so in this video, we're going to actually pull this user ID out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this response that I've gotten, and this is the JSON that GitHub responded back with. And so I'm just going to put this up at the top because I'm going to need to unmarshal this. So I like to have all my types be top scoped. And so type GitHub response is a struct. And it has data is a struct, viewer is a struct, and ID is a string. And JSON tag it each one of these so that it's the matching the capitalization. I don't think this is required for unmarshalling, but I like to do it anyway. Data as a whole is called data. Viewer as a whole is called viewer. ID is called ID. So this kind of matches that information. And so I don't like having my ID in the actual code, so I'm just going to ... that out, but I'll keep the comment there because that's actually a good comment to see what the layout's supposed to be. JSON layout. So GitHub response. So this is going to be what I'm going to unmarshal to. All right, so now going back down to the very bottom of the page. All right, so our response body has that JSON data. So we need to unmarshal it. So JSON dot, go back up, import encoding / JSON. JSON dot, please import. There we go. New decoder response.body .decode, which returns an error. All right, so we need a variable first. So var GitHub response is a GitHub. Well, that's what I called that, so I'll just call it gr here. Decode to the GitHub response. If error is not equal nil, it wants to be nil. Error. So if I can't decode the response from GitHub with our JSON decoder, then I want to say GitHub incorrect response or invalid response. Probably don't want to give this much information to a user normally, but this will work for development purposes. So now we've got our GitHub response data.viewer.id. So GitHub ID is that. Oy.
Nice.
Clear out some of the packages we're not using anymore. So now we've got the GitHub ID, and so you will probably have some database table, like GitHub connections or something. And so map string to string, key is GitHub ID, value is R is user ID. And so now you can actually try to log them in. So GitHub ID, so you could check GitHub connections with the GitHub ID. User ID error, or not error.
Okay.
Okay. I am having all sorts of trouble keeping track of my own cursor. If they're not okay, then we don't have a GitHub connection yet, so we're registering them. So we need to actually create a user account for them. And so however your process is for creating a new user account, here's where you would do it. New user create account. So otherwise, they already have an account and you can log them in now. And so if we go over to our token.go, we've actually got our system here. So where we can create a session and then call create token. So this is just the standard stuff that we saw kind of in the last section.
Yeah.
Create a session, create a JWT token, put that in a cookie for the user to be, so that they can get back to you. But that's the basics of an OAuth.
Add a comment there at the bottom, create account. Or no, log into account.
Log into
and
account,
JWT.
user ID using JWT.
There we go. And you should return after the new user, right? That's going to be its own deal, so you don't flow down to that.
Sometimes you want to just log them in after
okay,
you.
just log them in.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
that makes sense.
sometimes you straight log them in. Sometimes you have to redirect them to a special register page so they can fill in some information.
All right, take that out. Take that return out.
However, so sometimes maybe return, maybe not. Depends on your.
Well, that's a little bit involved. And it's Friday afternoon, and it's 5:33. You have anything more to add to that? We got the code working. Now just commit it.
Yeah.
And we'll head home, and then we'll have some hands-on exercises for you when we come back on Monday. Does that sound about right?
Yep.
And so this one is extracting user ID, unmarshalling. What do you use? You didn't use unmarshal, you use decoding.
Yeah, I used JSON decoder.
User ID. Decoding, JSON decoding. JSON decoding user ID. And that's going to be tag 37.
All right. I have a hard time remembering that V.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, thank you very much, Daniel.
Yeah.
This is great. I'm really enjoying it. I'm learning a lot. I could tell because it makes me sleepy. You can go home and sleep and see how things are, how much they synthesize. So I look forward to seeing you on Monday.
Yeah.
See you on Monday.